Hey folks, thank you so much for tuning in to the Neutral Zone Hotel. This is Benjamin. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a Montreal Canadiens and an Ottawa Charge fan. I want to welcome two co-hosts with me today. Trevor?
Hi, I'm Trevor. My pronouns are he, him, the hometown Vancouver Canucks fan. And while Colorado might have Miles Wood, Mackenzie Blackwood, and Scott Wedgwood, no, you cannot have Kiefer Sherwood. He is mine. You stay away from him.
Yeah, I think you made that clear the other day. SJ.
Hi, I'm SJ. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a Seattle Kraken fan, hailing from the beautiful city of Seattle.
Do you know what I found out this week?
What did you find out?
Ottawa defender Jinsey Rose's middle name is Rose. So she's Jinsey Rose Rose.
Yeah, didn't she adopt the Rose's last name when she got married?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, she married into Rose as a last name.
Oh, dear.
That's the only real information I have. Trevor, how was that? Oh, wait, does your boss listen to this?
No.
No, okay, good. How was that Vancouver Canucks game last night?
I enjoyed myself quite a bit. I went with a friend of the show, GPS on Discord. It was a good time. Maybe not so much for him being an Avs fan, but I mean, they did break the shutout with about under a minute to go. But I got to see a hat trick for the first time ever live in person, and it was super neat. I got to see hats fly.
Did you throw your hat?
No, I did not. I didn't. I really like my hats. I don't know if you can tell. And I also had no idea if it'd be able to make it from the second floor. Like, I didn't want to toss it and have like bonk somebody, and I didn't know if they'd be like, "Oh, hey, free hat," or if they'd continue the ritual. You know.
I wouldn't throw my hat either. I gotta be honest. Those things cost like $30 each, and I am cheap.
I mean, I'm also a sucker who buys like the flat brim snapbacks. Those ones are like $50 a pop. Also Canadian.
I mean, 50 Canadian is 30 American,
it's
so
true. It kind of balances out.
it's actually getting worse. I also did not throw my hat when I saw my first hat trick, which was Darryl Watts playing for the Charge last season. It's partially because I sit behind the net, so there's a mesh in the way, and it's partially because I don't wear hats.
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
We're going to do a game this session, folks, but before we do that, we'll just throw around a couple quick things, get them out of the way. And the first thing I wanted to ask Trevor is, did you see about those guys who got screwed out of the buying cases of Upper Deck?
I didn't know.
What happened?
I'm going to be very intrigued if it's like, if you stumbled across like hockey card news that I have no idea about, that's going to be wild, and I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Two Saskatchewan Meds say they are out thousands of dollars after hockey card order never arrived. So what happened was they purchased or pre-ordered cases of 23-24 Upper Deck cards, but the cards never arrived. A CBC chased this down to a seller in Quebec, and the seller gave them the runaround, and basically said that he was an unreliable, or he was reselling it from an actual distributor. Mm-hmm. Upper Deck says that he was not an authorized seller.
Yeah.
He is not a member of Upper Deck's certified diamond dealer program. They do not protect those purchases. So I was wondering if you maybe give us the rundown on what that means and what it's like to be chasing these cases, and if these prices, like 5,000 Canadian, are the actual price.
All right, so we'll start with the diamond retailers. So, in order to give an idea of like shops that have a good reputation and whatnot, I think it's the same for Magic the Gathering, which Benjamin, I think you can relate to. Certain stores will get the status of being Upper Deck diamond dealers, and what this entails is that they are able to sell their product online without really any fear. As you mentioned there, if anything goes awry, those are protected on both ends. And as well, for online retailers, like there's a lot of online breakers. you are able to then purchase boxes directly through the dealer. And again, at no cost, like no real risk or worry. You can buy them from unreputable sources, but on a box there are always 2 barcodes. And as from what I remember, they can show you one barcode, that might not mean much, but they won't show you the second one because that's the one that Upper Deck can kind of trace, find out who it was supposed to go to, like get distributed to, and then can ding them later on. But also, if I recall correctly, diamond retailers are also able to sell across the border for that year's product. If you do not have that ability, you can only do the prior year or beforehand. And then as for the prices, so for the cases of 23-24, they are 12 box cases. So at about $5,000, that does track because 23-24 Series 2 was retailing for about $400 a box upon its release. This is the set that had the Connor Bedard Young Gun, which was one of the first actual rookie cards of his that came out. And then also that chance at that 1-of-1 Young Gun of his that we talked about a year ago that had the $1 million bounty. As an aside, David Adams Card World has rescinded said bounty. So if you find it, tough noogies. But it is still a little overpriced. Like, I would imagine they would retail like a case. Well, actually, after taxes, still probably be about just under $5,000. So the seller's not making a whole lot about it. But that assumes that they're reputable, which this seller is evidently not. Gets his $5,000, probably ripped the boxes himself trying to find something good. Like, in each case, you're going to be guaranteed at least one of every Young Gun. So you're getting at least one Bedard Young Gun, possibly 2. And when they first came out, they were selling for about $800 to $900 raw. PSA 10s are about $1,300. They've significantly dropped down once everyone realized, oh crap, they printed a lot of this. But
it doesn't help that Bedard's having a sophomore slump either, I'm sure.
Very much so. I've pulled a couple Bedards, and I was lucky to sell them when I did, instead of getting dinged later.
I think you'd have to hold on to them for a long time for them to be back to that original value.
I mean, to that point, like McDavid Young Guns, I think go for a couple grand raw at this point. Obviously, PSA 10s go way up, but therein lies the rest. You really need to hope that the ones that are gonna hit, like the ones that are set to hit, you got to hope that they really do. Bedard, as you said, he's in a slump right now. We'll give it another 5 years. Maybe if he wins like an Art Ross, maybe he starts winning a Hart, gets Chicago back to the playoffs, that might start to skyrocket again.
Goes to the Olympics, wins a gold medal, those sorts of things.
Exactly. Well, wins a gold medal, but is like a key part of that team.
So what I found interesting in the story is, and obviously I'm not part of the hockey card market like you are, but I have been in trading cards. The CBC has written the story in a very, carefully balanced way. But the picture they chose of the person who owns the store is a picture of him at the World Series of Poker in May. And you just get the idea that when you read the article, and again, this is me reading into it, this isn't what they put on the paper. You get the suggestion that he took all this money and it went to Vegas for the World Series and lost it all. That's the way it feels, just reading it. So there are definitely sketchy sellers out there, and my recommendation to anybody who's thinking about getting into any sort of collectible game is make sure you check out those sellers before you buy. And if it seems like it's too good to be true, in this market, it almost always is.
And not to mention, always pay through sources that are always kind of going to have a backup. For example, if you're going to buy something off of someone and they ask for PayPal, but if they ask it for you to send it via friends or family, immediate red flag. Because if something goes wrong, PayPal does not have the buyer's back in that regard. If you say to like you're buying like something like a goods or a service, that's when they have your back for it. And that's what you want to look out for. There's lots of small things out there. And even then, if you can meet up with a seller to physically hold and look at and kind of be able to observe something, Awesome, perfect. Because that's what's kind of wild to me is like these guys from Saskatchewan bought something from Quebec when it's like I'm sure there's many other hobby shops out in Saskatchewan that they could have purchased from, but
Yeah, and it says they purchased via e-transfer. So for those in the United States, that's like Venmo, but through the banks, and you don't have to give your information to Venmo. So yeah, like obviously there's really no way for them to get the money back. They've reported it for fraud, but that money's gone.
funny enough, for something that is involved directly with the banks, there is no protection on e-transfer, as my lovely girlfriend found out when she got scammed out of Taylor Swift tickets a few months ago by an e-transfer.
Ouch.
Oof.
Thankfully, it was
Yeah.
only face value, so I think she only lost like $400, but that's still $400.
Yeah.
That's not nothing. I could use $400 right now.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I thought that was an interesting piece, and I thought it would pique your interest, so I'm glad we had a chance to chat about it.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't really have anything else I want to talk about hockey-wise. It was kind of a boring week, other than the Sabres and the Rangers are still spiraling. SJ, is there anything you noticed that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, not really. I feel like the big thing this week is that a lot of the playoff picture has kind of cemented itself. There might still be some space in the East. I think the Bruins are kind of catchable. The wild card spots in the East might be a little more catchable, but the West, I don't know. I think that the West is kind of set, so... Yeah, I don't know. It kind of feels like the season is over, even though it's not even Christmas.
I don't know about being over, but I certainly feel like we are settling into that late December, January doldrums before things get shaken up by the deadline.
Yeah.
But hey, Patrick Laine scored tonight, and it's highly possible that if the Montreal Canadiens win this game, they'll get Lindy Ruff fired. So...
Oh, that would be...
Incredible.
When you're a bad team, the only thing you can hope for is to get other teams' coaches fired. That is a mark of success.
Very true. There is just such a deep satisfaction in being the reason your coach gets fired. Oh, hey, it looks like Montreal just scored.
You see, this is bad if you're Buffalo.
Yeah. Losing to the Habs is gonna do it. I don't know that Ruff getting fired is going to do anything. They probably need a new GM.
Up top.
Yeah.
No, they need a new owner.
2 days ago, they had a player meeting, and they met with,
Terry Pagula.
Terry Pagula, and the answer that came out of that was, we think the answer's in the room, and now insiders are saying it sounds like there's going to be trades if they lose this game, which is deeply funny to do 2 days after you say the answer is in the room. But I guess we'll track that. If they blow up the Sabres and make some big swings with them, it'll be interesting. What more can you ask for from the NHL?
Yeah, another Patrick Laine goal.
Yes, let's go. He's so good. My big Finnish boy.
You know what I have been thinking about is how sticky the NHL has been over the past, 3 years and this year that I have been watching, and how the good teams, even when they lose, like clearly have giant holes in the roster, a la the Bruins, they tend to still kind of stick and keep winning and stick in the playoff picture. And these teams that are like the up-and-comer teams, like the Sabres, for instance, or they have all of these really high draft picks, but they're younger teams. They have so much more trouble like getting over the hump, right? They just have they seem to like really struggle to become to flip from being sort of losers to winners, right? Mm-hmm. Even when on paper it seems like they have a far more talented roster. And even teams like Detroit, which is sort of supposed to be an up-and-coming team, but that seemed to be very afraid of being a young team that didn't know how to win, they went out and they got a bunch of vets guys who are supposed to like support their young players, and they haven't made it either. Like, they're still not a playoff team. So I don't understand like what that phenomenon is exactly. But it is very curious to me because it doesn't feel it feels. I don't think it's a roster construction thing. I don't think it's a talent thing. It just feels squishy.
I think there's truth to the concept that you need leaders in a room, people who kind of know how to win and have the attitude that you can get through whatever it is that you happen to be encountering. I do think there is something to that. The problem is that NHL GMs will often go significantly overboard in that methodology and try to stack it with people who won a long time ago.
Rings in the room.
Yeah. I do think a couple rings in the room are good. Like, I think, for example, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be someone who won the Stanley Cup itself, but like having a guy like Claude Giroux in Ottawa has been beneficial. You can tell by looking at them, it's been beneficial. But Buffalo, the guys Buffalo has are not these noted leaders. So kind of what do you expect sort of deal.
Yeah, I feel like Buffalo might have been one of those teams that really would have benefited from bringing in one more like really experienced vet, even if they weren't the most high-end player.
The other thing too, though, is also when you want to bring these leaders in, because even though you can have like the rings in the room or the leadership, if they're getting to a point where their age just makes them completely ineffective.
Yeah. You want to avoid that at all costs.
Look at Patrick Kane in Detroit. Cool, you got rings in the room. Cool, you got veteran leadership. And he's doing what? He hasn't helped Detroit at all whatsoever. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't help Buffalo out whatsoever, despite the fact that, even though he appears on a Buffalo Sabres hockey card from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think Detroit actually just went too far in terms of trying to sign experienced vets to the detriment of their overall talent level. And I think they made the worst mistakes on their defense.
Being able to contribute like a winner isn't just sitting in the room and saying, hey, this is what we did to win the Stanley Cup. There are a significant amount of people in this world who respond to leadership through action. And if you're an ineffectual player, it is going to be very hard for you to lead by action. And you can even make the argument that the way that older players tend to cheat in order to try to stay in the game, you can make the argument that might actually be detrimental to young players to see on the ice with them. That's why you want somebody who is not necessarily in their prime, but certainly not quite to the dusk of their career.
Yeah.
Early twilight.
Those are hard. Twilight. It's hard to find those players. And
yeah, well,
I think GMs try to they make a lot of swings to sign those players, especially in free agency. They tend to overpay, and they're actually it's quite possible those players are much rarer than NHL GMs would like to think.
And I think that's fairly accurate. And to be fair to Patrick Kane, I think that the last 2 years of his career, he was that guy. Maybe not in terms of capacity for leadership, but certainly in terms of on-ice skill, he still had it. And this year, it seems like he's taken that step back. So it is what it is. But I don't think, I mean, the amount of guys, character guys, room guys they have on that team is, it's got to be detrimental. And you're still playing Ben Sherrod as one of your top 4 defenders. What are you doing, Steve Yzerman?
Yeah.
If you keep this up, we are going to pass a law to change it to Steve Yzerman permanently.
Mm-hmm.
In other news,
right.
Patrick Laine power play goal hat trick.
Oh!
Let's go. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Power play specialist Patrick Laine. Holy smokes.
I am crying for Buffalo's penalty kill. Yikes.
Little goals boy is also turning to little assists boy too.
I know.
They love each other so much, and it makes me happy.
Oh yeah, we can see it. If you go into our Discord, we have a lovely sticker with the two of them.
Yep, it's cute.
He's so small. Laine's so tall, and Caulfield's so small. They look like he looks like a baby. Yeah, something like that.
It's Patrick Laine and his son Cole Caulfield.
All right. Well, that was a very brief discussion about things going on in hockey, but what we really want to do is hang out and play a game. So I've put together a Jeopardy board.
Yay!
I've tried to make it equally tough for both of you. So we're going to go ahead and kick that off. Let me share my screen, and I'll explain how this is going to work. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, it is... first of all, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, the categories are... beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, boop. Who they pay second most for.
Okay.
Signals by the book. So that'll be a description from the NHL rulebook of a referee hand signal. Team stats leaders.
Okay.
I'll tell you the team and the stat. You tell me the leader. Hockey history. And the arena formerly known as. So we're looking for the former name of current NHL arenas. So sorry, I'll give you the former name. You tell me the current name of the arena.
One quick question for the team stats leaders. Is that current or is that like all time?
All time.
Okay, perfect.
I don't think I put any like current in there. I think it's all time leaders.
All right. Sounds good. I'm excited.
All right.
How are we doing buzzing?
What?
Great question. You're going to use the emojis.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So pick an emoji. When you see, I will read the question, and then I will click this button, which tells you can then ring in, and then I will be watching your screens.
Sounds good.
So do not buzz in, because I want to read the whole question so our audience can hear. Do not buzz in until you see that. I have selected one clue to be the Daily Double. It's not listed here, so I'll make the noise with, appropriately.
Okay.
At least we can easily determine who goes first, because SJ is a returning Jeopardy champion on here.
That's why SJ's first on the list.
Oh.
That's right.
Wait, what list?
If you look in the bottom corner, it's got your name.
Oh, okay.
For the points, and you're on the left.
Oh, so I have to choose.
Mm-hmm.
SJ is the returning Jeopardy champion. You get the board first.
I will take Signals by the book for 100, please, Benjamin.
A chopping motion with the edge of one hand across the opposite forearm. SJ.
What is a slash?
I gotta press space. Correct. What is slashing?
You
get 100 points. Go ahead.
All right. Let's take Signals for 200, please, Benjamin.
A forward and backward motion of the arms with both fists clenched, extending from the chest for a distance of about 1 foot. Trevor.
What is cross-checking?
That's correct. It is indeed a cross-check.
Oh, yeah. I see it in my mind now.
Trevor.
The arena formerly known as for 100, please.
Air Canada Centre. Oop. I messed that up.
Yeah. It's all good. For the record, people, it was the now current Scotiabank Centre, home of the Maple Leafs, or Scotiabank Arena.
I got punchy.
All right.
Can I fix that in the middle of the game and just no? Okay,
it's all good. Let's just do 200 instead. It's all good.
Sure. BB&T Center. Trevor.
Is that FLA Live Arena? No, it's Amaranth Center. Damn it. No, that's fine. I got it wrong.
SJ, do you want to steal?
What is... no, I actually have no idea.
So you don't steal?
I don't steal.
Okay. The answer is Amarant Bank Arena, home of the Florida Panthers.
Okay.
All right. Trevor, the board is still yours.
The arena formerly known as for 300.
RBC Center. Beep, beep, beep. The answer is, or the question is, what is Lenovo Center, the home of the Carolina Hurricanes?
Oh, that was at least 2 names ago.
Yeah, well, was
they just changed. They just changed in the off season.
Yeah.
So was BB.
So it is.
So was BB&T because they went to FLA Live before becoming Amarant Bank. So
I picked RBC Center for a very specific reason.
Ooh.
I was looking at it and I was like, surely this must be a Canadian arena.
Right?
Trevor, the board is still yours.
We'll do arena.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
We'll do arena for 400.
All right. The Corel Center. Trevor.
What is the Canadian Tire Center, home of the Ottawa Senators?
That is correct. You've got 400 points now.
All right. And we will finish the category off.
Energy Solutions Arena.
Wow.
Anything?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Nope. I got nothing.
Beep, beep, beep. The Delta Center. Home of the Utah Hockey Club.
Well played, but...
I was never going to get
All right.
that. I don't feel bad about not getting anything in that category.
All right.
I mean, the 500s are hard, and they're supposed to be tough. Trevor.
Hockey history for 100, please.
This professional hockey league stole stars from the NHL, such as Bobby Hull, when it began operation in 1972. SJ.
The WHA.
That is correct. The World Hockey Association.
Thank you.
SJ, you've got the board.
Can I please have signals for 300?
Striking the clenched fist of one hand into the open palm of the opposite hand in front of the chest. SJ.
What is roughing?
That's incorrect.
Oh, uh-oh.
Trevor.
What is charging?
I'm sorry, that is also incorrect. The answer is, what is boarding?
Oh, okay.
SJ, you still got the board.
Let's do signals for 400, please.
Striking leg with either hand behind the knee, keeping both skates on the ice. SJ.
What is tripping?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
What?
Trevor.
What is kneeing?
I'm sorry, that is also incorrect.
No, is it slew foot? Clipping.
What?
It is clipping.
Tripping
What
is in front of
clipping?
the knee, not behind the knee.
Tripping doesn't actually make contact. Tripping is this. So you bring your hand and you swing it down. And kneeing is you pat the knee.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they
clipping
never.
is right behind your leg.
Maybe they never call clipping because nobody
No,
knows
they
what
really
it is.
It's very
It's a
true.
very, very rare penalty.
I'm at like minus
right.
500. I'm dying here.
Yeah,
Do you want to pick a different category, maybe?
Let's play who they pay second most for 100.
The Edmonton Oilers. Trevor?
Who is Connor McDavid?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Oh, is it really? Oh, okay.
SJ, do you know who the Edmonton Oilers pay second most for? Yep.
Who is Darnell Nurse?
That is correct.
Right.
It will be
Draisaitl
Connor
extension has to
McDavid
be-
next
yeah.
year.
Yeah. I'm digging out of the
Darn it.
hole. Slight.
I jumped the gun there. That's embarrassing.
SJ, you've got the board.
It's not like Darnell Nurse is famously overpaid. 200, please. Second most.
The Pittsburgh Penguins. SJ.
Who is Malkin?
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Well.
Trevor.
Is it Sidney? Who is Sidney Crosby? Yes.
It is Sidney Crosby. The highest paid player on the team is
Erik Karlsson.
Erik Karlsson.
Oh, I forgot Erik Karlsson existed.
Trevor, you've got the board.
Who they pay second most for $300, please?
The Toronto Maple Leafs. SJ.
John Tavares?
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Are you kidding me? Okay, I know who it is.
Trevor.
Who is William Nylander?
That is correct. It is William Nylander with his brand new $11.5 million deal. You're out of the hole with 100 points.
I'm further in the hole.
Yeah.
Trevor.
Who they pay for $400, please?
Beat it, beat.
Ooh.
It's a daily double.
All right.
Don't look at the clue.
I will wager. Let's go
You
with
can wager up
$500.
to 1,000.
Yeah, we'll just do 500.
Okay. The Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, so we established the prior time we played this that Troy Terry is, I believe, the top one. Who is Alex Killorn?
I'm sorry. It's who is Troy Terry. Jacob Trouba, since we last played, has become...
Trevor is ripped his headphones.
I have been bamboozled. Well played.
You fell into my trap card, Trevor.
Well played.
I know there's going to be somebody listening and yelling when you start talking about Troy Terry there. However, you still have control of the board.
God.
Let's finish that category off. Who they pay second most for?
The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh boy.
I don't think I could tell you who they pay most for.
Beep, beep, beep.
I think I could tell you who they pay most for, but yeah, let's see who's second.
Who do you think they pay most for?
Is it Zach Werenski?
It is.
Yeah.
And it's Damon Severson,
Wow.
the second best player on the Jackets. I thought for sure. So I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know, but it's got to be Sean Monahan, right? It is not Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan is fourth.
I could not have pulled Damon Severson in a million years.
I forgot that man existed. All right.
All right, Trevor.
Let's clear out signals by the book.
All right. Moving the forearm, fist closed, under the forearm of the other hand, held palm down.
What?
I even gave them the demonstration.
Oh, that looks terrible. You know what? I'm going to risk it for the biscuit.
All right, go ahead.
What is diving?
Incorrect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Diving is just an unsportsmanlike penalty.
Ah.
So, SJ, any guesses? Or are you gonna maybe?
I'm gonna. I don't want to guess. I got nothing on this.
If it's like butt ending, I'm gonna piss. Ah!
Butt ending.
Dear listener, it is butt ending.
So annoying.
It's exactly what it looks like, right?
Yeah, it really is. That's why I said it like half jokingly there. I know I dropped one, but oh man, this is a family-friendly podcast. I will not put the swear jar to more use.
I would like to note that Trevor and I are now tied at negative 900 each.
Yeah, I haven't been doing good giving you the updates on the points there, listeners. But yeah, it's not going well for our heroes.
We both owe Ben and Benjamin serious money at this point.
All right,
Just points.
Hockey history 200.
Trevor. All right. She made history as the first woman to play in an NHL preseason game when she defended the goal for the San Jose Sharks in 1992. Trevor.
Who is Manon Rhéaume?
That's correct.
Also, didn't she play for Tampa Bay against San Jose? Or am I misremembering this?
I might have gotten it wrong.
Either way.
I can't remember.
Yeah, she rules.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Okay.
300, please.
All right. They were the first United States-based Stanley Cup champions. SJ.
We're the Seattle Metropolitans.
That's correct.
Oh, well played. Nice.
SJ, you've got the board.
All right, let's do hockey history for 400.
This trophy is given to the top amateur senior hockey team in Canada. In years gone by, the winner would represent Canada internationally.
Oh, I bet you told me this last week.
Trevor.
What is the Allen Cup?
That's correct.
Yeah, I was listening.
We definitely talked about this last
That's
week.
the
and we
only
talked
reason
about
I
it when
know
we talked
this
about
is because I listened to the episode just yesterday, actually.
When we did the history of major junior hockey, we also talked about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I did not retain that information.
Let's finish the category off.
Wayne Gretzky was the last player for whom the Hockey Hall of Fame waived the customary 3-year waiting period for induction. He was the first.
I have a guess, but I don't want to wager.
Beep, beep, beep.
Is it Maurice
Who
Richard?
is
Dick
Clapper.
Wow.
I've never heard of this man.
And what's crazy is his name was Clapper before they invented slap shots.
All right.
All right, Trevor, we have team stats leaders left.
Yeah. Let's start at the top. 100 for team stats leaders.
Regular season goals for the Montreal Canadiens. Trevor.
Who is Guy Lafleur?
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Nope. All right, so it's the other obvious one. Frick. Well, maybe.
SJ.
I couldn't tell you in a million years.
Never heard me talk about Maurice Richard before.
I mean,
That's okay.
I thought for some reason I thought Lafleur had like 600. I guess I was.
He
off.
has the points, but he doesn't have the goals.
Okay. 200.
Most points, all situations for Team Canada women.
I think you're at the same struggle I do. Has she passed her yet, or is it the old one? Oh, I don't know.
Beep, beep, beep. Haley Wickenheiser with a staggering 379 points.
Yeah.
And Mary Philippe Pillem will never catch that.
Okay. Glad I didn't. Yeah, well, those are the two names I was fighting for. 300.
those are also the two names that I was fighting for.
Playoff games played for the New York Rangers.
Wow.
Ooh. I think you made these too hard.
No, I don't think so. I think these are just fine. You kind of want it to
The
be
problem
hard.
is you.
Yeah, it's quite possible the problem is me.
I know we've talked about this person recently. I'll press the button. I'll press that button. SJ.
I'm just gonna guess because I'm tired of not guessing.
Okay.
Who's Chris Kreider?
I'm sorry, no.
No.
He's second. He is second and will take
Really?
it almost certainly this year if the Rangers actually drag themselves into the playoffs.
It was a good try.
You are correct.
Except I was wrong.
Well,
Deja vu.
beep, beep, beep. It is Henrik Lundqvist.
Okay. I actually thought it might be someone from like the early to mid 90s teams. That are highly scored.
Those Rangers teams only made the playoffs like 3 times. They're not good. Like they won the cup, but
Yes,
they weren't
thank you. Do not
consistently in
remind
the
me.
playoffs.
Yeah.
They bought the tail end of the Oilers in like 1991, and they made the playoffs to like 96, and then that was it. That was game. You want to see 400 next?
Yep.
Regular season penalty minutes for the Seattle Kraken.
Oh. Wow.
I feel like it has to be.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Who's Brandon Tanev?
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Nah.
Hilarious category, though.
It is pretty good. It's not a lot of history there.
Who else is gooning it up over there?
We
Beep, beep,
we actually
beep.
don't have very many like goon types.
Do you want to take a guess, SJ?
Is it Vince Dunn?
No.
Oh, Yanni Gord.
Gord.
That makes
yeah,
sense.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Team stats
finish
leaders for 500. One of the two players with the most regular season hat tricks for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, it has to be.
Go for it.
Who's Pavel Bure?
I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Wow. Okay, probably
Did I put these here specifically, these two, just to screw with you? I did. SJ, do you have a guess?
Is it one of the Sedins?
It isn't.
No, then I have no idea.
Okay,
I didn't think you
Marcus
would.
Naslund is probably one of them.
Tony
Yeah.
Tonti or Marcus Naslund.
Dang it. Bure just wasn't there long enough.
I want
Bure has 9. Like, to be clear, he had 9 in the short time he was in Vancouver. That guy could score.
I always forget that Tony Tanti was like actually like really good because he's so far before my time.
Okay, so good news. That brings us to the end. I didn't do a second round. I didn't do a double Jeopardy. I thought about it. SJ, you win. You retain your championship with minus 900 points.
All because I risked it for the biscuit on my own team. I'm an idiot.
Yep.
Oh well.
I did
fine.
put those two last questions in, assuming you would go to
Should've
that
stuck with my gut.
category last.
Although
So.
Trevor, you kind of broke up
well
there.
played. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good. There's also just a handful of times where I either second guessed myself and should have been right the first time, or of course, like famously, where I jokingly say one thing and it ends up being exactly that afterwards. But yeah, this was fun.
I know that I won, but I feel that I also failed miserably. So everybody's happy?
Yeah. I definitely wanted to just show how silly the descriptions in the NHL rulebook are.
That was good.
You know what?
That'd be fun.
That was a good.
So the reason I was also excited for that category is because when I did mine, because I did another one slightly based on the rules, that was going to be one of the categories as well, is like describing the gestures. So
The official gesture descriptions are fun.
They are.
it evidently didn't help me out at all much, but all right.
What a delight.
That's all I prepared for this episode. Is there anything anybody else wants to chat about or bring up? I don't mind ending it early. We made John edit a really long episode last week, and he deserves a break, that John.
That's right. Let's
Yeah,
close
he
it
does.
up.
All right. Folks, thanks for listening to the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are a podcast produced, hosted, edited. I said produced, hosted, edited by the Neutral Zone Hotel crew. As always, we want to thank Emily Mowbray for designing our superb logo. You can check us out on anywhere you can get podcasts. Give us a thumbs up, 5 stars. Smash the like button on YouTube, where we are at Neutral Zone Hotel. We are at Neutral Zone Hotel on Bluesky and on Instagram. There's something else I'm supposed to say, but I forget what it is. Don't worry about it, and we'll catch you next time. I think probably after Christmas and New Year's.
Well, we are doing a Christmas episode.
Yeah, there'll be a Christmas episode, which will be interesting and fun, a lot of fun. So pay attention for that. But I think this is our last weekly episode until 2025. So thank you for listening during 2024. We're looking forward to talking to you all next year. We are not prepared for this episode.